although they are in tribulation today, it will not be permanent. There is something
That will follow
that will follow, and that is glorious, Sister Luz. Meaning, after suffering or after experiencing tribulation, it is not bad. It is not something to be regarded as a bad thing for Christians.
Yes.
Tribulations are permitted by God to happen to Christians, and Christians do because they know, they can comprehend the love of God for them. They have understood, Sister Luz, that this tribulation is being used by God as an instrument to make them patient.
Yes.
According to that verse that we have read, tribulation worketh patience, and patience experience, and experience hope. So Christians experience these things, and God is permitting these things to happen to Christians because this will not be ending in vanity according to the Bible. It worketh patience, tribulation worketh patience, patience experience, and experience hope. This will end up to glory, Sister Luz. That's why even in tribulations, they have learned to be happy.
Be happy, yes.
That is the secret of happiness that was shown to the first century Christians by our Lord Jesus Christ.
Even in times of tribulation.
Yes, they are happy. And the secret is because you know what will be next.
Yes.
There is something there in front of you. As you travel along the road, you know that every hardship that you encounter in this life is not a way of punishment from God.
Yes, very really.
It is not God's, may we say, penalty that God gives us to Christians,
punish us.
to punish us, to make us sorrowful. No. If we understand God's way, Sister Luz, we may perceive that these are all the workings of God. These are all permitted by Him to happen unto a Christian for us to attain glory.
Yes.
And we must always remember and be guided by that belief that God, in the first place, did not create man to be burdened or to suffer. He predestinated us unto glory, according to what we have studied in the past episodes of this program. And for us to prove that, let us again read another verse in the scriptures. There is a secret to be happy in the Bible, Sister Luz.
What's that secret?
And that secret is knowing or comprehending the love of God reserved for us. You see, the Apostle Paul suffered so many trials, temptations, danger in his life. But you see how he looked at these things? Let us read the book of Philippians, chapter 4.
Not that I speak in respect of want, for I have learned in whatsoever state I am, therewith to be content.
There is the secret, Sister Luz.
Yes, very really.
He said, I have learned in whatsoever state I am, therewith to be content.
Yes, he's contented.
If you have contentment in your heart, and you have realized what God has reserved
for you,
that contentment will dwell in your being, Sister.
Yes.
You will not always be sorrowful. You will not always be wanting. You will not always be crying or you will not always be problematic about things that seems to be a burden to other people.
Yes.
That is what the Apostle Paul have learned. What did he learn? I have learned in whatsoever state I am therewith to be content. In verse 12, I know both how to be abased and I know how to abound. Everywhere and in all things I am instructed both to be full and to be hungry, both to abound and to suffer need. You see that? That is the secret of happiness. Contentment in whatever situation you are in.
Yes.
Let us not be like the worldly man. They say, that man is a fool. That there is that saying.
As a rule.
As a rule, man is a fool. When it is hot, he wants
wants it
it cool. When it is cool, he wants it hot, always wanting what is
It's
not,
not, yes.
because he doesn't have contentment in his life. Realizing what God has reserved for us, you see, Sister Luz, if you are sure of that glory that is to come, and if you are aware of that happiness that is reserved for you,
Yes.
that happiness cannot be equaled by the suffering that you are going to suffer or experience
Yes.
in this world or in this life.
That's
Let us
right.
read that first in the book of Romans chapter 8.
For I reckon that the sufferings of this present time are not worthy to be compared with the glory which shall be revealed in us.
You see, if you do not have an idea of that glory, then you will not really be content.
Yes, Brother Eli. If
But
you have not.
knowing what is reserved for you, although you cannot explain them elaborately, Sister Luz, I must have to confess that I have no idea of how great is that thing, but I know that it is a very great thing that is reserved by God there. I cannot elaborate on it because I have not any idea of it. Remember what the Bible said that we have read.
Yes. Things which
Things
are
that
not
were
heard.
not seen by the eyes or ears heard, things which did not entered into the heart of men. These things that are prepared by God to those who love Him. And if you know how great these things are, not elaborately, of course, because you cannot elaborate if you do not
Yes.
have a slightest
Idea of what are those
how
things.
glorious
Yes.
are those things, but you know that those things are great. It is enough that we know that these things are great because what we have seen, what we have heard, and what have entered into our hearts are great things. We have seen the
Yes.
greatness of God in the earthly things that we have known and we have seen. Much more, we have the idea of how great those things will be according to the Bible
Yes.
that God has reserved for us. And by knowing these things, you can say the very things that the Apostle Paul have said, that if you are going to reckon, for I reckon that the sufferings of this present times are not worthy to be compared with the glory which shall be revealed in us. You see?
Yes.
And knowing these things will make you patient, that patient and that persevering, that obedient and that happy, as the Apostle Paul have said. It will make you happy, even in tribulations, even in sufferings, and even at the point of death, Sister Luz, as
You'll
the
still
other
be
Christians
happy.
have the experience, you will be happy because you always know, you know all the while that there is something great reserved for you.
Yes, that's right.
And that is very clear in these verses that we have read. That for us to be content in every state that we are in, we must know that, of course. That's why I'm content to be hungry now, for I know sometimes in the future, I will not be hungry anymore.
Yes, that's right.
And if I suffer hunger now, because of that hope, so that for me to preserve that hope in my being and to always have that hope, I must really experience these things. Blessed are those who are hungry, according to our Lord Jesus Christ.
For they shall be
Blessed
filled.
they shall be filled. Blessed are those who are persecuted because of righteousness. Blessed are you when man say all manner of evil against you. Blessed are those persecuted for righteousness' sake. Blessed are those who suffer